Hello, welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy, and I am going to show you a quick flip through of where I am so far working with the kit Forget-Me-Nots, and it is from Nanine at Collage Type, and I will link her information below. I am trying something different this time. Usually I bind my pages and then I figure out backgrounds and things like that. I thought this time I would work on the backgrounds of the white pages that I have so much issue with before binding, before I put the journal together. So I just want to show you some things that I did, maybe to give you some ideas if you are looking for a way to fill some white space or to make cards and you just have this white cardstock. You could do this on the cardstock beforehand, cut it up into your pieces, and then decorate it and use it as you wish. Just some ideas that I wanted to share real quick. And you can see I've still got all my tools here scattered, and I will kind of talk you through how I made each thing. And it's not a journal tour, so you'll see the pages from her kit, but what I'm looking at are these here. This is a stencil, and I used this stencil repeatedly throughout the journal. I feel like that helps with continuity, and I love that this piece right here, this particular portion, the blue, matches that really well. And so you will see this used in different ways, different portions, and different styles, I guess, colors and such, all the way through here because it worked very well with the kit. The colors that I used with the kit, I used Speckled Egg, Uncharted Mariner, Mowed Lawn, Tea Dye, and Vintage Photo Distress Oxide inks. I also used, my granddaughters were having fun watercoloring one day while they were here, and they made me 3 batches of watercolor paint. And you can tell, I think, what their favorite color is. And so they jarred it up, and they want to help me dye papers next time they are both here, which will probably not be until the end of May, but that's okay. But I did use this and this to do some of the pages. So those are the things I used, along with a spray bottle, blending brushes, a dome blender, let's see, 2 of my fan brushes. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. I think that might be it. So here we go. For this page here, I used the stencil. I'll scoot it back into the frame. I used the stencil. And I've got a feeling things may go crashing here in a second. And then I also splattered with the tea dye. And how I did that was I pounced the ink pad onto my stamping block. I sprayed it with a little bit of water, and I took my fan brush and I just tapped. And I did that. The matching page is, or the other side of the page is here. So I think that I ended up not having any white to white pages, so I didn't have to worry about continuity that way. So I just tried to make it go with the page that was going next to it. All right, so next, this one was simple. I did the same thing, but with Speckled Egg. I pounced it on there, spritzed it with water, and used that fan brush to very lightly splatter that. And then I used this stamp. And I don't know if this is a Forget-Me-Not. The flowers look right. And so now it's a Forget-Me-Not, at least for this journal. And I just used the Speckled Egg and then the Mowed Lawn. And I put them both on there at the same time. And then if you take the stamp and you breathe on it, it reactivates the ink so that you don't have to worry about it drying while you're putting the other color on. I put the last 2 pieces of my red cabbage dyed paper in here too, so I'll have to do that as well. For this page, I took the fan brush and the pounced ink on here, and I just dragged it across the page. And then I went back over it in the same color and spattered. So you've got two different looks, or two different techniques that are creating that look. Here I used the stencil again, but I used brown. I turned it sideways. It's just the same stencil, just turned around and different colors. It looks like a different stencil, I think, just because of the treatment. Let's see, the next one was here. Here I just took some handmade paper that you can buy in packs on Amazon, and the colors went really well with the kit. And so I just tore a strip off and glued it to the edge of the page. This is the page where I took this makeup brush. I don't know, I guess it's a blush brush, and used the watercolor water that my granddaughters made, and I just did this. I just pounced it, and that gave me a look that I really, really like. And I may go through and do this and just make a digital so that I can always have that kind of a look. Here's the stencil again, but I used it as a reverse stencil, kind of a stencil stamp, if you will. I spritzed the dirty, the inked portion of the stencil, and then I turned it over and stamped with it on the paper. And I love that look, especially when you've got 2 or 3 different colors that are remaining on the stencil and they kind of flow into each other. I think it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite things to do. Here, again, I did the strié, the dragging of the brush, except for I used brown. Went across there, and then I went back in and splattered over it with the, I think I mixed these two on the palette and then splattered. The Speckled Egg and the Uncharted Mariner. And then this is just the other side of the pages that I've already shown you how I did. That reverse stencil. What is that? Oh, it's just, apparently I'm going to have a pocket there that I forgot about. I do like that. I like that look a lot. There's the other side of the handmade paper. The other side of the two-tone stencil. More of the strié. Splatter, and on this one, I took the stamp and I only inked the flower portion of it and then just stamped it 3 times up there. Here, I used the stencil, but I didn't include any of the flowers. I only inked the vines on these 2 pages. And then I took, I should have brought this over. I took a stamp that I made at a Bible journaling retreat that my friend Laura taught us how to make, using Rubik's Cubes or wooden cubes and just household items or different things. And for this was a die cut piece of fun foam, and I stamped where the flowers would be on the stencil with that. Then I turned it over and stamped in the center of it with that fun foam piece. And then I used liquid pearls in the center. And this is one that doesn't have a name on it, so I don't know what color it is. But I put some in the center, and then I didn't leave it to raise. I smeared it around to imitate the look of the forget-me-nots with the yellow centers. And then I splattered with some of the brown paint, either vintage photo or tea dye. I think it may be a mix of both. I see both colors there. For this one, I splattered with the Speckled Egg and added the handmade paper down in the corner. This paper here I didn't do today, but it is one that I simply laid another paper on to dry after I had done a technique, and I liked it. It's got blues, purples, and grays, and I thought it looked very nice with the journal. This one, I did the same strié, except for I did it in a pattern to create a plaid, and that's with the speckled egg and the tea dye. I smushed on this one with the blocks. Just sprayed it and then put the block down on it, and then I took the fan brushes and I kind of danced over it, and you can see little streaks and marks that were made with the fan brushes. I liked the way that turned out. Here's the stencil again with a different color combination and a different area, so it looks like another stencil again because I don't have the big fleur-de-lis kind of looking flower. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Maybe it kind of looks like an artichoke, actually. Let's see. Here's that strié again with the speckled egg. This is the reverse stenciling again, and this one is with the blue and the green. I think it's just so pretty. Let's see. Here I did smushing and I did splattering, and I think that's it. I think it's smushing and splattering. Yep, that's just smushing and splattering. There's the other side of the reverse stencil. See the way the blue and the green are bleeding into each other here? It's just so pretty, so pretty. I could probably get by with not doing this if I would remember to print on the back side of my digital images, but I don't remember to do that. There's the strié, and this was a page, and I just glued it down to be a pocket. I'm not going over that part. Here's the stencil again. This time, when I did it, apparently it was still damp from being used another time. And so not only do I have the blue and the green stencil, but I have some brown, which would be vintage photo or tea dye or a combination of both, that is sticking in between. It looks kind of dusty. It looks pretty cool. I like it. The smushing and the fan brushes again. There's that plaid. I like the way the plaid turned out. I probably could have taken a third color and gone through there, but I wanted to leave some white space because that's still able to be written on. And one of the things that I was trying to focus on was not that it would be a page that I would want to keep as the focus. I want it to be something I can put other things on and not be, you know, disappointed because, oh, I covered that part up. It's simply to be there to break the page, and I can put whatever I want on it, and the page is just going to look more, not full, but more finished. Instead of just having something plopped on it, it looks like the whole thing is a piece. This one I splattered, and I took the handmade paper and I just went ahead and made a pocket out of it. Just because I was right there and I had a thought and I did it. And here's the other side of the stencil where I used my handmade stamp. Thank you, Laura. Let's see, and I've got a couple of other techniques still in here. This one is the mulberry paper again, or handmade paper. That's not mulberry paper. Here again, I did some repeated stamping, and it's okay if I cover those up. It's not a big deal. It's a little bit of ink and some splattering. Here I did some more reverse stenciling, but I just used a little bitty bit of it over at the edge. Again, the blue and the brown are running into each other. So pretty. For this one, I had some spots left, but I didn't go ahead and remist my block. I just went ahead and put it on there so that just the wet spots stayed. I thought that looked pretty cool. And then I did that with the blue too, down here. And there's some of the handmade paper that is going to run across, and you'll see it running up the other side of the page. Here's reverse stenciling on that small page. Again, this is just the paper that I was drawing other things on, and it looked pretty. This is just a little bit of splatter on that one. For this one, I used another of the blocks that Laura showed us how to make. This one I used here just as a little bit of lattice looking. This is a sink mat. And then this part is this, and this is the rug gripper, like you put under throw rugs so that they don't slip. And then I splattered, and then I stamped, and then used the liquid pearls in the center again. And on digital pages, you want to make sure that your thing that you're doing is not too wet. If you're going to do wet stuff, save it for the stuff that is pre-printed, like scrapbook paper. For this one, I had a piece of paper this big. I tore off the corners and had this piece left in the center. On the other continuation of this page, you'll see the other two corners and the other side of this, and then I splattered over. Let's see. Nope, I splattered first and then put the pieces of paper on. For this one, this is the center page, and I stenciled the entire page. And for the flip up, I made sure that it was directional. I wanted this to still be aimed up. I still wanted my flowers to be aimed up. And so I used the stencil down here and used some of the vining and went ahead up on that page, but anything that was directional, I waited, I put the stencil back on, lining it up so that it didn't go over anything else, and that way it stays directional and this is still usable. Here's the other side of that page with the splatter and the torn corners. I'm not sure. I may have had ink on my finger when I turned the page over. But I can do something with that. It's not ruined. Here's the other side of that page with the stamping with, let's see, that's the lattice. This is the rug gripper. This is splatter paint and the stamps on here and the liquid pearls. And just some more splatter on there. Let's see, was there one of those? Nope. More of the reverse stencil. And here's the smushing. And when I did the smushing with this block that had the two blues on it, it left kind of a harsh line right here that I didn't like. And so I had this piece of mulberry paper over there that was left over from having corners and stuff torn off of it. And I just glued it across there. It softened that edge. The two inks, three inks, whatever, kind of bled through here because the glue reactivated them, because it's a glue stick. It's still got wet ingredients because it's a glue stick. And so it kind of picked up on those colors coming through there. I like that. That's a really good background. Let's see. The other reverse stenciling where I just went to the edge of the page. Just some simple splatter is enough to make a page look, I could leave it like that and be happy. No problem. Here's that handmade paper that's up in the corner. And that is how I am breaking the blank pages. Because I don't know why, I just don't like, I just don't like white pages. I don't know if I'll get over it. I don't know that I need to get over it. I kind of like it because it just, you know, it inspires me. It encourages creativity. What do you do to break the blank page? What do you do to avoid white pages? If you avoid white pages. Maybe you're not as weird as I am. I don't know. Maybe you are. In case you are my tribe. Thank you for joining me today. And as always, be kind. Bye.